The era of AI films has started cinematic singularity. The full democratization of filmmaking looms on the horizon. Now, with Runway Gen 3 Turbo, you can ideate at the pace of your imagination, lightning fast. We've come a long way since I produced a cinematic AI video for the first time using Gen 2. We are coming closer to super photorealism and excellent coherence. A couple of weeks ago, I published a mini AI film just to push the boundaries and see what's possible with AI tools today. In this video, I will show you a deep dive tutorial on how I created the mini AI film, a blast from the past. In the process of generating this mini film, I tested and tried many different things and accumulated a lot of practical ideas that I will share with you now, so you can save a lot of time. Prompting tips I will share are based on the official Runway Gen 3 prompting guide, published and recommended by the Runway team. This video consists of 3 main parts, covering the 3 steps of the process with a detailed deep dive. I've added chapters for your convenience. I'll show you how to quickly do storyboarding for your AI film, then transform this storyboard into ultra-realistic cinematic shots with consistent style and character using Midjourney. Then I will guide you on creating cinematic videos using Runway's image-to-video mode, controlling camera movement for the best results, and making the most out of Runway Gen 3's powerful image-to-video engine. We'll also compare the output quality of Runway Gen 3 Turbo with the Gen 3 base model. Let's dive in. I started my workflow by writing a rough draft of a synopsis. For example, I gave my character a name and high-level description. This will help us in the storyboarding process. I choose a character, a Native American young man named İlkyas. I also decided on the setting, time, location, and weather conditions. Film is gonna be in the US Wild West era, set against a snowy backdrop in the Rocky Mountains region. For this ideation phase, you can utilize ChatGPT, Cloud, or any other large language model to generate scenes based on a brief synopsis draft. However, I didn't need to do this as I already had my own creative vision. I wrote 16 scenes. Nothing detailed, just a few sentences of ideas and some high-level scenes, some shots I imagined for this mini-film. For example, Native American young man İlkyas walks the forest to face bandits in snowy forest. Next, I will take these 16 sentences and feed into ChatGPT with the prompt, "Help me storyboard below mini-film synopsis with 16:9 aspect ratio." I highly recommend specifying the setting, location, and time because without this information, DALL-E might produce images with inconsistent time periods. Then ChatGPT generates 16 scenes for me using DALL-E. I use ChatGPT for storyboarding due to its excellent character and style consistency. Given that we are in the low fidelity phase, we don't need to be overly concerned about image quality. These images aren't intended for direct use in the film. Instead, they provide a holistic overview of my mini synopsis. Additionally, they can serve as valuable reference images while crafting prompts for Midjourney. One final step before finalizing our low-fidelity phase. From ChatGPT, we want visual descriptions of each storyboard image using this prompt. I want you to visually describe every photorealistic image in the storyboard one by one. These visual descriptions will come extremely handy. Now that I have some concept images in my hand, I will create ultra-realistic cinematic images for my AI video using the atomic prompting method on Midjourney. But you can also use Flux or any other image generation tool depending on your preference. This image from DALL-E storyboard seemed perfect for setting the tone of the mini-film. We begin with style exploration for our images. To achieve the desired immersion, we need to establish a consistent tone throughout the series of images on Midjourney. In one of my previous videos, I created this image with dark cinematic tones that I particularly liked. I decided to include these elements in my style reference on Midjourney website using the style reference option or paperclip icon. Using the atomic prompting method, I crafted this prompt and attached these style references along with my storyboard image as an image reference. Our goal here is to establish the right tone before generating more images. The resulting shot beautifully combines the DALL-E image with the style references. And from this point on, I will use this as a style reference for every new scene I will generate. Now I'm transforming the first image in our storyboard from low fidelity to high fidelity. In order to do that, I will take full advantage of image prompting alongside with style reference on Midjourney. First, I added this image as an image reference to my prompt box. I then strengthened the image prompt with a detailed visual text description from ChatGPT. You remember that we asked ChatGPT to provide us some visual descriptions. I specified the shot type on Midjourney because this saves a lot of time while converting this image to video. I added my parameters, aspect ratio, style row, and image weight. Image weight is extremely important. I picked 0.5 value as image weight to balance my image prompt with the text prompt to influence final image equally. I'm sharing on the screen some reference values for your convenience. If you want a balanced approach, I would recommend you to use 0.5 as a value. If you want to maximize your image reference influence, then I would recommend you to use 3. Finally, I'm including the previously generated image as a style reference using the paperclip icon here. I'm hitting enter. Here's a quick tip. After starting image generation, press up arrow key to bring back the prompt. This allows you to further refine it without copy-pasting your prompt. By this, I transformed my image to this. Using exact same method, I'm gonna transform the second scene on my storyboard from this image prompt to this. One by one, I'm creating my scenes. And you can see I'm not using any complex prompts. Most of the job is done by image prompting and style reference. Now it's time to design our character. I like this character depiction from the storyboard images. So I decided to make it more realistic using this Midjourney prompt. I wrote cinematic close-up shot of a Native American young man inside his raided home. He feels a deep sadness with things he saw in Wild West times. I also attached style reference. I ended up with this image. The resulting character image was satisfactory but not ideal for a character reference due to its side profile perspective. That's why I decided to continue refining the image further. This shot provides a clearer view of the character's face, making it an ideal reference for directing upcoming scenes. I achieved this by using the image I generated as a character reference. I added my style reference for style and colors. Finally, I added this image as an image reference just to help me out with pose. The face of the image looks off, but it's not that important because we have our character reference here, and all it matters is actually the pose. I supported my image reference with a prompt specifically asking for a full body shot. Now, using this image as a character reference, I can direct the upcoming scenes much more easily. Now I continue with the next scenes from my storyboard. Take a look at this shot. Cinematic medium shot of a Native American young man holding a revolver and aiming before shooting in snowy forest in Wild West times in a snowy scene in Rocky Mountains region. I attached to this prompt my character reference and my style reference. Here's another example. Cinematic bird's eye view of a Native American young man seeing a group of cowboy bandits in distance in snowy forest in Wild West times, Rocky Mountains region. Same thing, again, I use my character reference and I use my style reference. But one thing you will notice, which is important, I also started to use style weight and character weight. Let's explain Midjourney character reference weight. To better understand how to direct a scene with character reference, we need to simplify the decision-making process. It comes to a very simple question. What changes for my character in the next scene? If our character is in a similar scene, wearing same outfit, same hairstyle, it's same day essentially, then it makes sense to use a high character weight value like 100 to make it more challenging to modify the character's appearance through text prompts due to the strong influence of reference image. However, if our character is in a different scene, with a different outfit, hairstyle, weather conditions, in a different day, for example, then it makes sense to use character weight as a 0. This will allow for more flexibility in changing hairstyles and outfits through text prompts while preserving facial features. Because you will realize that if you keep the character weight at 100, sometimes Midjourney just keeps bringing close-up shots. which makes it difficult for us to direct the scene because our character needs to be in different situations. Here's another example, a cinematic Native American young man in a dark coal mine, extremely dark scene in Wild West times. I have again character reference and style reference. Another one, a full body shot with the same character, a shot from behind, walking in the snow, a close-up shot holding a dynamite. This one, our character is actually running in the dark coal mine. The final shot with the same character reference. And in this one, I also used the image prompt because I had this shot in my storyboard and I decided to use that and ended up with this shot. Another example, same character, over-the-shoulder shot. And you will realize that low character weights causing our character to keep changing outfits. Again, if you want to keep the character's outfit consistent, then you can use character weight as 100 as a value. Another example with a full body shot. Sometimes I use two images of the same character as a character reference. This helps us to strengthen the message, strengthen the prompt, and it produces much better results. But you need to be careful because images should look similar, otherwise it can be confusing for Midjourney. Okay, quick tip. What if I want to use same image for both style and character reference altogether? So instead of adding two images, we use same image for two different functions. The interface offers three image prompt types: character reference, style reference, and regular image prompt, which can be selected by clicking on the corresponding icons. In order to use a combination of a reference types, the trick is you need to hold Shift and choose options that you want to use for this image. By this, we are saying that we want to use this character's face in the image as a character reference, and we also want the art style of the same image as a style reference. Including shot types in our prompts will be immensely beneficial for the image-to-video process. It enhances creative control by providing a well-defined first or last frame. Since we already covered the first shot, we can concentrate solely on cinematography and camera movement on runway. For example, here, I use close-up as a shot type, right in the beginning of my prompt as a power token. If we go back to atomic prompting, while producing this kind of mini AI film, using shot type at the beginning as a power token is extremely beneficial and helpful. In the next example, I also use an image reference from my storyboard just to give me a little bit of a creative canvas, and I combined it with a well-defined shot type, young man seen from behind. Finally, I added my style reference and finalized the prompt with a 0.5 image weight not to have any illustrative effect on the final shot. You can see it looks quite realistic. Similar example with the next shot from my storyboard here, transforming into this realistic shot in combination with camera control, which is wide-angle shot of a group of bandit cowboys. So we are fully taking advantage of using image prompts, and also we are taking advantage of using shot types. I use this image as an image reference in combination with the prompt high-angle shot of maps of an abandoned mine. Same way, I'm fully taking advantage of the image reference again and transforming it into a realistic shot. And here's another example. This is storyboard shot, and this is the final realistic shot. With the prompt cinematic photo, a massive explosion and blast inside of an old abandoned coal mine. Wild West times, massive destruction and debris flying around, particles everywhere. We have a great starting point in our storyboard and a great final realistic end result. Note that you don't have to always use image prompting in order to create great realistic shots. You can do it without any storyboard. You can do it without any image reference or image prompting. Simply in this shot, I described cinematic high-angle shot, a lot of footsteps in Wild West times in a snowy scene in Rocky Mountains with the tall trees. I only added my style reference for the colors and the vibe. Rest is only text prompt and our creative vision. I got similar result in this one. I was hoping for bird's eye view shot to show the bandits. I only had a style reference. I toned down a little bit my style reference because I was getting way too many close-up shots, and I ended up with this. It's not necessarily bird's eye view shot, it's more close to a high-angle shot, but I can work with this. So you don't have to always use image prompts. In fact, I will show you an easy way to create your cinematic universe very quickly. Here's the prompt. Cinematic photo in the US Wild West era set against a snowy backdrop in Rocky Mountains. And in brackets, we are adding landscape, people, architecture. The prompt structure with brackets is called permutations or batch prompting on Midjourney. It allows you to create multiple image generations with a single prompt. Combining this prompt with the chaos parameter, C, will ensure that it's going to be a variation among the generated images. Increasing chaos leads to more unexpected and diverse results. I also added my style reference here in order to ensure that my universe is consistent with the rest of the images I generated. But as you can see, when I hit enter, it will create 3 jobs, total 12 grids. This one will consist of architecture, this with some people, and this with some landscape that we can use as a B-roll. So chaos values range from 0 to 100. Lower chaos values around 4 to 8 add variety while maintaining prompt adherence. Extreme values like 50 to 100, images can deviate significantly from the original prompt. So I would really recommend you to stay somewhere around 4 to 8. If I like this landscape, I can just come here quickly, hit vary strong, and generate more landscape images similar to the first one we like with a consistent style. Final step is handover to Runway. Few tips for a smooth handover process. During the Midjourney image generation process, you will create numerous images. To save time, like the ones you plan to use in your film. This allows you to easily filter and find them later. Liking your own images doesn't affect your personalization codes, making it a safe way to bookmark images. You can also utilize Midjourney folders to organize your generated images. You can download entire folders or all images you generated in a specific day. Also, by holding to Shift, you can choose specific ones and hit download. This organization will be crucial for the next step, which is going to be upscaling. For upscaling, you can use new Midjourney upscalers, where you can find actually here. It's by far the easiest workflow with a decent quality for beginners, and it's the most budget-friendly option. For this project, I use Magnific Upscaler because I appreciate the additional realism and texture it brings. However, this is a paid tool, so you don't have to use the same one. Just a tip, if you're gonna use Magnific, make sure to maximize the resemblance setting. Otherwise, you might lose all the effort you put into maintaining character consistency. After uploading my Midjourney image to Runway, I will set the camera movement to direct the scene based on this first frame. If you don't add a prompt, it will generate a simple effect like zooming in most of the cases. Keep in mind that you can select this image as either the first or last frame. If you choose it as the first frame, Runway will start the video from this frame and extend it according to your creative direction. If you select it as a last frame, then Runway will creatively generate what happened before. It's like a time machine where you set either the starting point or the destination. And in the end, you will arrive to this frame as the last. And I can tell you, Gen 3 Turbo is lightning fast. I think it's fascinating to be able to generate a video faster than writing a sentence. With this new model, Runway team deserves a round of applause. And here, it's ready. So, Gen 3 Alpha Turbo is fast, but how about quality of Gen 3 Turbo? I didn't realize a massive drop in the quality. In fact, in some outputs, I saw Gen 3 Turbo did actually a better job, especially when it comes to body coherence, the accuracy of details. I realized occasionally some more face changes in the color and things like that, but it's not really drastic. Considering how fast it is, the output quality is actually very much satisfactory for me. The Runway team also recently added this prompt presets. You can see it here. This helps especially to beginners with controlling the camera in a much more comfortable way. For example, if we choose cinematic drone, it automatically adds a prompt structure here where you can use and take advantage of instead of writing your own prompts. Take a look at this, for example. a close-up portrait prompt structure. A crash zoom into a close-up portrait, shallow depth of field, over-the-shoulder shot. You add your subject, and then you have a prompt ready to use. And it's very easy to apply. It's simply one button. According to official prompting guide, here's the suggested prompting for Runway for the best possible output. This is particularly for text to video. For image to video, we don't need this element of establishing a scene. In image to video, instead of describing what's in the image, focus on describing the camera movement, character, and scene movement you would like in the output. So common mistake 1. If you are using image to video, you don't need to describe the image itself. No need to reuse Midjourney prompts on Runway. By the way, you can find this prompting guide in the description below. So when it comes to image to video, I formalized this prompt structure based on official guide and based on my testings. We have 3 elements. We have camera technique, we have camera follows X format, and we have an event happening in the scene. You can pick elements and formulate them together with colon as a separation. You can also use comma. I don't think there's a massive difference. So simply, you can use all of these elements in a single prompt, or you can cherry pick and use the ones that you feel comfortable with. So if you don't know specific camera technique names, you don't need to worry about it. Then instead of that, you can use the simple camera follows X format, which is very simple to use. For example, here I described the camera movement, which is static camera. And I also added event happening in the scene. It's just a description of event. The camera is static, man pulls the trigger and shoots with the revolver. This is a very simple example of using 2 of the elements, the camera movement and event, and making a cinematic footage. Here's another example. The camera very slowly moves up. This is the first part. And second part is event happening in the scene, which is man is looking forward. So even if I wouldn't write the second part, I think this footage would be still fine just with camera movement being described. Next example, static camera. So I described the camera movement, I added colon, and after that I'm adding the event. Man walks with his cowboy boots. Another one, the camera is static, men are alerted. So the man on the behind doesn't seem so alerted, but we have this shot here. This can be used as, it's kind of like, what's happening there? So as you can see, it's very simple. The camera movement and event. Do you have to always add the camera movement? So in this example, I didn't add the camera movement. I only added the revolver is shooting left. And I know this whole shooting thing and fire looks really unrealistic, but my whole point is, even if I wouldn't describe the camera movement, just by adding the event, we can make this scene work. So as I mentioned, you can also build your prompt with camera technique and event together. In this example, I wrote handheld as a camera technique. I added colon sign, and after that, I'm describing the event, which is camera slowly enters the ruined house while snow continues. So this is kind of like a nice combination of camera technique, the camera movement, and event all together described in a single sentence. Here, I'm starting actually with shot type at the beginning, which is low angle shot. And then I added the camera movement, and it's almost like creating a storyboard. I started with the first shot, and I continued in my prompt what's gonna be the next step. So I had this nice smooth camera movement. You can build your prompt with variety of different elements. There is no one single source of truth. It's really depending on the image you have, and it depends on the complexity of movement you want. So this one starts with the camera technique, over the shoulder shot. And then I also described the camera slowly follows the man on the horse. So I built a combination of 2 things, the camera technique together with the camera follows format. It's a very good shot. Next one is similar. I have tracking shot as a camera technique, separation, colon sign, and after that, the camera follows the man. Generally, I think this camera technique, colon, and the camera follows X format, I think this works quite well with Runway. In this shot, I used a camera technique called SnorriCam. I think this keyword is great because problem with AI video is most of the time you will realize that it's very static and it's very difficult in AI video to move characters from one point to another and show them they are walking or running without losing much of the coherence in the image. I think this is maybe not perfect, but SnorriCam as a keyword I think works great especially if you want to show that the character is on the move. Similar example here, you can see we have a running character. Another shot, again with SnorriCam, edit as a keyword to the prompt. Again, we have SnorriCam for moving our character. In this shot again, we have camera technique, over the shoulder shot, we have camera movement, the camera is following the man, and additional, we have also in the end an event, man looks back with fear. So this is like combination of everything we learned. And of course, the man's face looks a bit funny, but you got the point that it's possible to use all of these things in combination when it comes to prompting image to video. One key takeaway from this video can be, if you are confused about this whole camera technique, camera follows X format or the event and everything, simply just use camera follows X format. Simply describe the camera movement and Runway will do quite a good job. You can see in this example, I just said camera is slowly zooming out and it already produced quite a good cinematic result. When it comes to camera techniques, in the prompting guide, you will find quite a lot of different camera techniques that Runway already recognizes and is good with. So you can refer back to the prompting guides for some of these camera technique keywords. Now let's take a look at some of the common problems with Runway and their solutions potentially. Problem number one, why everything is slow motion? And frankly, this is really the case. I strongly feel we need some kind of setting when it comes to speed control. But for now, until we have this setting, you can use keywords like normal speed or 30x speed or high speed in order to accelerate your footage. It's not always accurate, so you may need to accelerate it in the post-production, but potentially it can be a good solution. Another complaint we hear quite a lot is about colors. Colors are changing from my original input image. I observed this also quite a lot with Gen 3 Alpha Turbo. For this, you can use keywords like muted colors or low contrast. This will be helpful to maintain the consistency of colors. Actually, Runway is really good with depicting emotions. So if you write things like smiling while talking, deep concern, worry, sad, shy, angry, Runway will do a great job portraying these emotions. The next thing I want to show you is Runway's LipSync feature. In order to use that, after generating your image, you can click on LipSync here. After clicking, it will take you to this UI. So you can write any sentence here that your character will say. It will also add lip sync for you based on the sentence you write. You can also record your own audio or you can upload audio file here. For this example, I will keep it simple. Let's say revenge is a dish served cold. And we can change voice here. We have quite a lot of different voices. Let's say we want to have Jack. I hit generate lip sync.
Revenge is a dish served cold.
I think we needed to choose a different voice for this character, but I think you got the point. The cool thing about Runway is you can actually add some hand gestures and it will make your character do that. For example, I wrote the prompt, camera is zooming in, man makes the heart-shaped gesture. Let's hit generate and it's ready. Look at that. This is really so cool that you can actually direct the scene like this and look at the heart gesture. Okay, let's start with addressing the elephant in the room. Runway's pricing. Yes, the Runway team updated their pricing options. With the introduction of Gen 3 Alpha Turbo, the new model is priced at 5 credits per second of a video, which is half the cost of the original Gen 3 Alpha that was priced at 10 credits per second. In my experiments while building this mini-film, I had an average of 2.6 tries before I was satisfied with the footage. This is an average number. If it's a professional client work, the number of trials would double or triple. So I appreciate price reduction, but still, credits run out fast. That's why for more affordability, I recommend implementing a low-resolution preview before generating the full-resolution footage as an optional step. We may need this at least until these models are a little bit cheaper. This would help with better cost control and significantly improve user satisfaction. The last thing I want to show you is fixed seed. So fixed seed on Runway creates visually similar generations, almost like style reference in Midjourney. It's unchecked by default. So if you paste the previous output seed number here, it will then automatically check the box and it will create similar style and movement to the original output. Hopefully, this video was truly helpful for you to explore cinematic AI video making process. If you felt a spark of inspiration, show your support with a thumbs up and join our jungle community by subscribing for more mind-blowing tutorials.